Okay. So today's agenda is that I'll quickly talk about myself in case you haven't come across me or you haven't seen what I do and what I've been doing for some time. Let me talk about that, and then we will get into some of the questions which has been asked by the participants who have opted to join this call, and they have filled the form wherein they have asked certain questions. So answer those questions, and then I'll open the floor for questions. Any one of you can unmute and then ask your questions. I'll try to answer them to the best of my capability. So with this getting started, so this is Ritesh. I have been mentoring product folks for quite some time. So far, I have mentored more than 200 folks who have been looking to transition into product management. I help them with resume review. I help them with mock interviews. I also help them with understanding the fundamentals of product management so that they can crack the PM interview. Okay. And apart from that, I have over 18 years of experience. I have worked for brands like Jubilant Foodworks, which runs Domino's in India. I also have worked for fintech companies such as Lending Card. Before that, I was with Tata Sky, now Tata Play. And before that, I was with Times Internet, Yahoo, and 𝐻𝐼𝐴. So many companies I've worked for, mostly into B2C products or consulting, and that's how I have evolved. In fact, if I have to talk about, I started my journey as a software developer, but then I pursued higher studies. I did my MBA. Post that, I worked for about 4 years into consulting roles. So I worked for IBM Strategy and Change for about 3 years, and then 1 year with 𝐻𝐼𝐴, where I worked on various consulting assignments along with exposure to data analysis, dashboarding, and some amount of digital clients which I've had, which gave me exposure to product management, and that's how I got into Yahoo, and that's how my journey started into product management. I can talk more about that as we go along the presentation. The next thing which I want to do is quickly jump into the agenda. Okay, so some of you had actually filled the form, and many of you have asked multiple questions, but these are the two major questions which I have come across as far as your feedback or your questions have have come to me. So one is around transitioning to a PM career. So you are already working somewhere in some role, maybe into content, maybe into a BA role. Some of you might be into a software engineering role, or maybe a technical role, right? And you are looking for product management uh, career switch. So that is something which is I'm going to answer. Some of you have asked about like how to optimize CV to get interviews. That is also something which I will talk about. Okay. So I'm just doing a check if someone is waiting in the arena. No one. Okay. So let's start with the first question. Okay. How do I switch from my current position to a product role, right? Okay. So transitioning to a, maybe like if you are already working, transitioning is like, okay, you are already in a role and you have to probably like get into a PM role, which involves one, okay, in case you are working for a product company, okay, which means that, okay, let's say you are, or maybe you are working for a company or a firm which is building or which is having a digital either storefront or some sort of way to contact or serve your customers, right? In case you have that sort, or you are in that sort of company, or you are into that sort of role, the natural progression for you should be to get into a product role within your own company. Okay, this is the most, I would say, the most natural and most, I would say, comfortable way to get into a product role. Where, let's say, if you are working as a software developer, work with your product manager or the PM that you are working with. Try to learn tricks of the trade. Try to do some volunteering. Try to, I mean, just speak to him, seek that, okay, how you can get into product management. Try to volunteer and say that, okay, I want to probably work with you and learn the tricks of the trades. Why don't you give me some volunteer work where I can help you, and probably with your deliverables, right? Whether it could be maybe doing some user research, maybe pulling some data, maybe analyzing some data, maybe it's about maybe doing some sort of help with wireframing, etc., right? Volunteer for that work and try to get that hands-on experience within your own company. So that is like one natural way to go. Of course, once you get a bit of experience or a bit of hands-on experience, what you should do in the scenario one, where you are working for a company which is a product company, or a company where you are having some digital channels through which you are uh, serving your customers. Okay, so in that case, what you should be doing is that, okay, next, once you get some hands-on experience, talk to your manager, okay, and your HR, and try to figure out a way to transition, right? So what is the formal way of transitioning from a non-PM role to a PM role? That is something which you have to figure out. And this will be the most, I would say, natural way, and probably like not giving you any sort of like maybe break in your career, or maybe you might have to like go down a level, something like that, right? You don't have to do that. So you can do that while working on the current job, help someone learn tricks of the trade. Of course, apart from this, you have to also get the foundational knowledge of product management, right? So probably you won't be able to get all sort of or all the flavor of the work that a PM does, but at least like get some hands-on. Rest of the things learn by yourself and get that foundational knowledge, so that let's say after this you get a chance to probably you get a chance to go for an interview, right? At least you are able to showcase your skills along with some of the hands-on work which you can showcase to your interviewer or the hiring manager, right? That is the one way that you should go ahead. The next thing, or the next probably way to go about this would be uh, probably if you are working in a role where you have been into that role for some time, right, and you have gotten some sort of domain experience. Okay, so let's say you are working for maybe an e-commerce firm, okay, or maybe a fintech firm or a bank, right, where you have gotten some domain experience in terms of how the industry operates. You are at least aware of what sort of features go into, what sort of backend integrations happens, right, in case you are in the software role. Or maybe if you are into maybe a marketing side, right, so if you know that, okay, how to what are the customer personas that your company is targeting, how to build customer persona, how do we reach out to them, what are some of the nuances about the industry, etc., right? In that case, you get some domain experience. Utilize this domain experience to move into a different company. Okay, in case you have to go for this route, which is like you are utilizing your experience or domain experience to go for a different firm. Okay, this is slightly difficult, but considering you have a decent domain experience, you should be able to position yourself as someone who can get started or hit the ground running, because you already have certain experience with the industry, right? So that is something which you should do. In this, of course, what you have to do is like there are two things which can happen, right? So let's say if you have like a lot of experience, so uh, so you might even have to maybe step down a bit in case you are getting into product role. That is something which can happen. But in if you go for a probably like option one, you might not have to step down or compromise on your salary, right? In the second part, right, what can happen in case, let's say, you are working for, probably you can go for, in case let's say you want to pick up something very very fast, you can go and work for a startup where you probably will be able to join at the same level and be able to contribute in a PM role, or a role which is much more closer to a product management role. Okay, apart from that, you can also target big companies depending upon what sort of like flavor that you want. Okay, in case you are trying for big companies or maybe like established companies, in that case you might have to step down in terms of roles. Okay, that is something which you might have to compromise on when you are going for a bigger companies. Okay, so in that case, join that company. But of course, like eventually what will happen is that you will grow into the role, because PMs are usually are like high, it's a high growth role, so you'll be able to grow fast and be able to probably reach a position where you will start leading a team or maybe leading an entire portfolio or something, right? So don't it's okay, I mean, based on your flavor. In case you don't want to compromise, go for startups or go for big companies where you might have to step down in terms of salary or position, right? But that should not be a worry, because your ultimate goal has to be getting into a PM role. So those are the two options which are there. Apart from apart from that, right? Let's say the third thing which can happen is like, okay, you can go for a totally, I would say, maybe like the third option is to a totally different firm, right? Which is like, okay, which is into a different domain or something. In that case, since you are completely new, what you have to do is like you have to gain some amount of domain experience, okay, and some amount of insights into what those firms and those industry, how do they operate, right? And this you can showcase by some sort of product portfolio which you can create in terms of solving different problems related to the industry. Along with that, n number of things, right? You can do some sort of market research, you can do some sort of competitive research or competitive analysis. You can do probably like, okay, improve the product. Many of the things that you can probably think about, which will help you showcase your skills and showcase that, okay, you have PM skills, plus you have some amount of domain experience or domain knowledge, I would say, which you can utilize when you join the firm, right? So in this case also, the third case is that, okay, since you are joining a totally different firm or totally different industry, right? Here, there are high chances that you might have to step down, okay? So whether it's a startup or whether it's a established company, you might have to step down in terms of salary slash position, okay? So that should not bother you, because having said that, okay, since PM roles are high growth roles, you should be able to cover up in maybe like few years down the line, okay? So that is another way that you can do. The last thing, which is like, okay, since like if you're not looking for a job, and if you have the probably the privilege to probably like maybe like, okay, experiment something on your own, you can also maybe try creating maybe I would say uh, spend some time, spend some money if required. Either you can do some sort of startup, or you can do maybe I would say a prototype you can build, which you can also help or which can also help you bag a PM role, okay? So these are the four options which I would suggest. One is, okay, within the same company. Okay. Second is, okay, same domain, but different company. Okay. Third is, of course, different domain. And fourth is, of course, maybe some sort of like, I would say, create a product. Okay. So these are some of the natural ways or some of the ways people have earlier transitioned into PM role. You can choose any of them. And the order of, I would say, difficulty is like that. Okay. This is like the order of difficulty is this one is like having less difficulty. This one is having like more difficulty, and so on and so forth, right? So I hope that answered the question around how to transition to PM role. And the things which I have spoken now, right? It can be like customized to anything, right? Whether you are into content role, and see if your company has a product, right? How you can get into or get some hands-on experience into product management. And in case you are working with PMs already, it will be very, very probably like it will be much easier for you to get some hands-on experience. Okay, whether you are working in a BO role, in case you are, I mean, you do if you have a product owner or if you have a PM, work with them to learn the tricks of the trade. Okay, and get some hands-on. Okay, and lastly, software engineer, which means definitely you'll be working with a PM or PO. Same thing, okay? Get some hands-on experience, and which will help you transition to a PM role later on. That's the first question answered. I'll open the house for questions in some time where you can cross question or you can clarify your individual doubts as well. The next thing is like, how do you optimize CV to get interviews, right? So, to be frank, at this point of time, CV alone will not get you uh, uh, interview shortlist, right? You have to have a CV plus portfolio. The reason why I'm saying this is because, first of all, there is a deluge of CVs which is happening on recruiters, and there are so many people who are applying. So you have to find a way to differentiate yourself, right? And of course, since I've spoken about differentiating, you can also do some amount of networking to actually get interview calls. Okay, this is very, very important. Now I'll talk about each of them separately. Okay. So in case you have a CV, make sure that your CV is I would say a product. not product CV. It's a product CV which talks about, which is impact heavy, okay, which talks about impact plus problems that you have solved. Okay, what problems have you solved and what impact have you created? This is something which is like must have in your CV, right? Plus, you should have certain relevant PM skills. So, of course, you have to make sure that you add those skills as under the skills column or under the project column, so that your CV can beat ATS, okay? Because ATS pick up those keywords, and those keywords might be used to filter CVs, okay? So make sure that those skills are there in your CV. Along with that, impact problem skills plus your CV should definitely have a portfolio link, which will help maybe a hiring manager to just quickly see if you are if you have done certain relevant work, or the kind of depth, or like I would say rigor you have in terms of creating the artifacts. Okay, so all of these things have to be there in your CV to be able to get an interview call, right? Apart from that, of course, like reaching out to recruiters directly, building some sort of network, okay, will definitely help you in getting interview calls. Next is portfolio. So you should definitely have a portfolio as part of a CV, and this will help you showcase. It will help you showcase PM skills, okay, which is PM skills, I would say, or maybe like knowledge, okay. So this involves solving a problem, right? So maybe like you should be solving some sort of uh, problem and coming up with a solution, right? It should involve probably a wireframe, okay? It may involve, apart from wireframe, you must have some sort of maybe like one PRD. It should have prioritization, which is like, okay, you should showcase that you know the various ways of prioritization. It should have probably some sort of maybe user journey map. Okay. I mean, so all of these artifacts, right, which will help you showcase PM skills. So your portfolio should have all these things, and which then can be included into your CV. So if you do all of this, CV plus portfolio, and reach out to hiring managers or recruiters, it will help you, or it will increase your chances to get your CV shortlisted for jobs, right? Apart from that, of course, you have to make sure that I mean, so this is only about getting shortlist, right? Apart from that, you have to make sure that you are also having the PM foundational knowledge. Okay, this is very, very important, because even if you get a CV shortlist, if you go into an interview without this thing, right, you might not be able to clear it because the competition is tough. So make sure that you follow all of this, which will help you crack a PM. Just going back and just checking in case more people are waiting. Okay, no people are waiting. Okay, so guys, I think I have covered everything. So in case like these are were the two major themes of questions which came across to me. I've tried to answer them. In case there is any question, you can unmute and speak. So now let's have like, okay, questions coming in. I'll be happy to answer them. And in case, let's say, you are unsatisfied or you want to probably discuss your case one-on-one with me, you can also book a 1:1 session with me on TalkMate. It is free. You can book a free session for 15 minutes, where I can probably help you answer some of the questions which are very specific to your role or your profile. Okay. So over to you guys. I'm just waiting for questions. Let your questions keep coming, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge.
Hi Ritesh, this is Divya. Am I audible?
Yes, Divya, go on.
So, my question is, are there any certifications or any courses which are free at cost currently, which can help us to get some foundation knowledge present?
Yes, I think there are courses which are available for free. I mean, so I know that there are free courses on LinkedIn. There are free course LinkedIn Learning. There are free courses on Coursera. There are also some free courses on. I'm not sure, but I believe there are some free courses on this thing. I think product school as well. Okay, so product school. LinkedIn Learning, Coursera. There are free courses which you can take up. However, these courses are mostly recorded, so there is no one-on-one live interaction. So you can just watch the videos, maybe attempt a couple of objective questions, which will help you grasp some of the concepts. And Product School and I think Coursera as well. They'll also give a certification post completion of those basic courses.
Okay. Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope that answers. But one thing is that, okay, I mean, that is only to get an exposure to product management or learn few tricks of the trade, right? Unless you get some hands-on, or unless you maybe build your own portfolio, it will be difficult for anyone to maybe like crack a payment rule, because like learning something theoretically and doing something on your own is very, very different. When you do things, you remember and you understand things, which will help you in your interviews, right? Because you will have the kind of depth to be able to answer to the questions which might come your way. I hope that answers.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else? Folks, keep the questions coming. So I'm here till 9. Uh, okay. Okay, Rohit has also joined. Hi, Rohit. Folks, any
Hi,
questions?
Ritesh.
Let me know. Hi, Rohit. So, Rohit, we just quickly discussed some of the questions which had come my way via the Google form. So I've answered them. I'm just like I've opened the floor for questions. So anyone having any question around PM career or how to transition to a PM career, I'm trying to answer those questions. Folks,
Yeah, my
go on.
question is, yeah,
Yes, Rohit,
my question
go on.
is, what are the, how we can transition from a business analyst or like senior BA to PM role, and what are the difficulties? I'm facing the difficulties actually.
Yeah.
So,
So, Rohit,
how we can tackle
you are
that?
working as a BA, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you working in a BA role in a services company or in a product company?
Yeah, the product related to the services only, but the company is product based and service based both.
No, tell me which what is the probably I mean, is your
It's
company
it's
building the product and selling the product, or is your company building the product for someone else, maybe some client?
Yeah, yeah, second option, but like company overall companies is for the both the option. It is applicable for a product as well
Okay.
as service.
See, for anyone who is working in a, so this looks like a services setup, okay, which means like you are building a product for some client, okay. In this kind of setup, what you should do as a BA is that, of course, whenever you are like doing any work, right, try to get to the bottom of things, as in like why you are doing it, how does your client gets benefited out of it. So maybe like you are trying to improve certain process, you are trying to maybe like launch a new flow for the in the product, right? Try to understand why you are doing that and how your client is going to benefit it, right? Try to also get an insights into the data, as in like what sort of problem your client is facing right now, what is the metric looking at this point of time, and once you have launched, you can also check out that metric. Of course, this data is slightly difficult to get in a services company because your client might not want to divulge that, but try to get a high level idea of like, okay, what is the metric, what is the baseline, how much did you move the metric. This will help you appreciate how your work has impacted the client, and this will also help you in creating a resume which will talk about the impact, right? Instead of just saying that I launched this feature, when you say that I led creation of this feature which led to moving this metric from X to Y, right? This will be much, much impactful, and this will look like a product work, right? So that is something which you have to get, which is like get as much information about why you are doing, be more closer to the client, and always talk about problem being solved and get a good hands on what problem did you solve. Okay. And then the measurement, the metric, right? So once you have that, it will help you build a good resume. Along with that, of course, in a BA role, probably you might not get a flavor of working on various aspects, right? So try to get the flavor of other aspects of product management, right? Which is like how to do wireframing, how to do probably how to do uh, maybe like how to do user research, how to do competitive research, right? How to probably release a product, how you build a product, how you release a product, right? How do you actually track the metrics post launch, etc., etc., right? Get a flavor of those things, get a good understanding from your project, right? Try to deep dive, ask questions from people, and get a better understanding, so that when you put those requirements, put those experience into CV, you'll be able to justify them, and you'll also be able to showcase a product work, or maybe like a work which is very close to product management, which will help you position your profile in a better manner. I hope that answers, Rohit.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, I'll quickly share some of the things which I usually share with folks who are looking to break into product management. Okay. So just going back to the presentation, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Where I can talk about the stuff, right? So since you guys don't have question, let me just quickly take you through, right? Okay. So this is something which I usually talk about, how to break into product management. Okay. So I've spoken about like what is the path, or what are the things that you should do uh, as a professional to get into PM. Let me quickly talk about uh, okay, maybe career progression. Career progression I can talk about. So usually, let's say if you are having anywhere between probably like okay, I would say 1 to uh, 2 years, or maybe 1 to 3 years of experience, right? Typically, you would be joining at an APM level. Okay, anyone probably 3+ to like maybe like 5 years, right? You should ideally try to go into a PM or a SPM role. Okay, someone who is like lesser experience can go for APM. Otherwise, if you have like some experience, definitely always try to go for a PM SPM position. In case you have a domain expertise, right? Or let's say you are having a domain expertise in some firm, and you are having probably like 3+ years of experience, always try to see, okay, you can go for PM role. Okay, don't probably target APM roles. In case you have probably, I would say, 5+ years of experience with domain experience, go for a SPM role. Okay, always try to push for that. Of course, like the company might want to downgrade you, but make sure that you always push for these roles, since you are having a domain experience. Someone who is not having a domain experience, probably like okay, you might have to compromise, right? So even if let's say you are a 3+ years of experience, you might go for a PM or even APM role. Okay, for 5+, probably you go for a PM role. Okay, so domain experience helps a lot. In case you are going into the same industry, it will help you maintain your level of seniority and compensation package as well. So quickly talking about the progression. So it starts with APM, then APM graduates into a PM, PM becomes an SPM, then LPM, GPM, and so on and so forth. Okay. As you progress into the hierarchy of product management, the amount of strategy work will keep on improving, which means like you get to plan and build features on your own based on the goals that you are chasing, right? As you grow, stakeholder management will also keep on increasing, because the overall span of probably like span of, or maybe like the surface area of your features will keep on increasing, and which will also increase the number of stakeholders that you might have. Okay, basically you will also get very critical projects which will ensure that you have multiple stakeholders, or more number of stakeholders, which will increase the amount of stakeholder management for you. As you grow, of course, like your portfolio or the number of modules, or maybe the breadth or the surface area of module will keep on increasing. So that kind of growth will also happen. And as you probably reach a certain level, you will also start having people management responsibility. Probably someone who is at a, I would say, a lead PM or a group PM will start having people or product managers reporting into the person. Okay. Moving on quickly. This is something which I usually talk about. These are certain skills which every PM should possess, or anyone who is trying to uh, get into a PM role should possess. The first one is analytical skills. Analytical skills is primarily around uh, being able to look at the data and derive insight. Okay. So when I say derive insight, it is not just, okay, something went up, something went down, right? Understanding the why part of it. Okay. This is something very, very important. And whenever you are probably trying to solve a problem during interviews as well, because this kind of question might come during interview, where you might be given a problem and you have to analyze it. Then you have to understand more than probably like saying this thing increase or this thing decrease. Understand the why part of it, right? Apart from that, you might also be assessed in terms of how you are with numbers. Okay, are you comfortable with numbers or not, which will come in the form of guesstimate questions which might come your way. Okay, so that is something which you should prepare for, or you should try to develop these skills. Okay, next things are, I would say, I will just club all these things together, which is product mindset, design sense, and problem solving. Okay, when I talk about these things are more about understanding the product and users need, understanding a good versus bad user experience. Okay, which means, okay, you should be able to tell whether a certain experience is good for conversion or not, whether certain experiences is can be made better or not, right? Things like that. Okay, apart from that, problem solving involves first principle thinking. So maybe like you might be given a certain problem where you have to keep on asking why and understand the root cause of it, so that you can solve the problem much more efficiently. Okay, all of these things, right? Product mindset, design sense, and problem solving. These things can help you, or these skills can be developed by doing a lot of product tear down. Okay, what is product tear down? You basically understand or look at what all products you use and try to understand why they are built, why something is built that way. Okay, why something works or built that way. Okay, understanding the why part of it. Okay, and also understanding how you can improve. Okay, that is what you can do as part of tear down. If you keep on doing this for a lot of products, right, this will help you build those muscles, or brain muscles, to help you become better in understanding product and users need, developing a design sense, and being better at problem solving. By the way, all of these kind of questions can come to you in an interview, wherein like you will be given a problem and you might be asked to improve or maybe like solve a problem, right? It might be as simple as that, okay, design a ATM for blind, okay? Something like that, as simple as that. Okay, which means that you have to understand the problem, you have to understand your users better and be able to uh, suggest the ways to solve a problem, right? Which is basically how would you build an ATM for blind, right? Or as simple as that, okay, how if what is your favorite product and how would you improve it further? Okay, as simple as that. In that case, you have to showcase your problem solving skills, your product mindset, and be able to suggest an improvement. Okay, so all these things are covered. Now let's go to the technical aptitude. Technical aptitude is something which may or may not be asked during an interview. Usually it is not asked, but it is good to understand how things work in a digital world. This will be helpful for you in all the if there is any peer round with developers, or if there is any engineering manager round. Okay, so in that case, it will be good for you to have some technical understanding of how things work in a digital world. In case you are applying for a tech PM position, you should definitely have this. Okay, so build that technical aptitude as well. Next, I will come to a soft skill, which is very, very important. Okay, communication is probably the most important aspect of product manager job, and there you need to learn structured communication, which means uh, can you probably communicate effectively. Okay, this is something which is not assessed directly, but when you are interacting during the interview, okay, or you are trying to solve a problem, it will be assessed that whether you are able to communicate in a effective manner or not. So this is something which you have to develop. This you can practice. So try to make sure that, okay, whenever you are speaking, whenever you are writing, try to uh, think structurally, bring structure in your thought process, practice it by writing. Okay, when you write, you will build the structure, and this will help you improve. Okay, so that is something which you can do in terms of communication. Next is product strategy. Anyone who is like less than probably 4 years of experience, I would say key strategy is not very important, but at least you should have how at least have industry knowledge. Okay, how a particular industry works. Okay, because this will also help you in problem solving. So let's say if you understand that, okay, how does the cab hailing industry work? Okay, you will be better placed to solve a problem related to maybe like Ola or Uber. It could be some sort of case which might come your way during interview. So at least understand how different industry operates, what are the main pain areas for those industries, what are maybe key metrics uh, competitors are chasing in those industries, what are the different constraints which play out in those industries. And understand those things which will help you become better in problem solving. Anyone who is more than 4 years of experience might be given maybe a bigger problem where you might have to use or like showcase your strategy, uh, I would say, uh, strategy strength as well, right? So that is something which you have to do. Okay. Next is leadership, stakeholder management, and project management. This is typically much more relevant for people with 4 years of more than 4 years of experience, and probably these things matter because like when you grow into a PM role, you will have to take initiative, you will have to lead a team to success, right? You have to make sure that your project sees the light of the day and you are able to see the success or achieve the goal that you're trying to chase, right? In the process, you might have to influence and negotiate with stakeholders. So that is something which is very important and might be assessed. Okay. And you should also have some sort of project management skills, which means how do you lead and how do you ensure delivery, right? Which is basically trying to understand the, I would say, or like figuring out all the dependencies and how do you de-risk the project, right? Or how do you de-risk the delivery? So this is something which will be assessed, and this will be assessed in the form of behavioral questions. Okay, so there could be a lot of behavioral questions which might come your way for senior folks. Okay, I would say probably 3-4 years से ज्यादा जिनका एक्सपीरियंस होगा उनको इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस बहुत आएंगे because they have to lead a project, lead a product, right? So that's why leadership, stakeholder management, and project management becomes very important. My suggestion is that in case you are working and you have certain experience, try to think about all those projects that you have executed and understand where or maybe figure out where you have showcased those skills. Be ready or like kind of like create some sort of cheat sheet which will help you answer those behavioral questions. Okay, so that is my recommendation in terms of how to showcase your skills and how to develop certain skills, right? So like all these analytical skills, product mindset, design sense, problem solving, right? Technical aptitude, all of these things are more like, okay, this is effort, right? You have to make certain efforts to learn and understand. Okay, this is something which you have to practice to become better in become better in communication. This is again you have to probably learn. This is something which you have to think through and be ready with those answers. Okay, so that's all about the different skills which will be required. In case there is any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Hello, Ritesh. Srikanth here.
Yes, Shrikant, tell me.
So, my question to you, Ritesh, is basically what should we study on? Because there are a lot of programs we could see on LinkedIn, right, regarding the product management. This thing. So, will those courses help us to break into product management? So, what is your opinion on that?
Yes, those courses will help. You have to get started somewhere, right? You have to start understanding more about product management, right? So you have to first understand in terms of, I would say, what is product management? What does a product manager do, right? What are the different things that he does over different period of time, right? What are the different activities is involved in launching a product, etc., etc., right? So you have to understand those things. You have to get that understanding, and then you have to get deeper into all of those concepts, right? Whether it is metrics, whether it is user research, whether it is about uh, uh, probably designing something, whether it is about probably looking analyzing a data, right? Whether it is about probably I would say stakeholder management and so on and so forth, right? There are so many things which happen. So you have to primarily have to go into all those things and understand each of these things better, and then you will be able to showcase your skills. Okay, so I mean, if I just quickly give you a glimpse of what are the different activities that a PM does, right? So a PM can be involved into multiple activities at a particular time, at a particular point of time. At some of his tasks might be during the discovery phase, where he's trying to understand what is the problem that I have to solve, right? Okay, for the business or for the product, right? Some of his tasks might be around, okay, how do I solve this problem, right? Some of his task, or he might be like working continuously over how do I align all my stakeholders to get the bandwidth to execute the next problem that you want to solve, right? Let's say once you have done the alignment, you'll be working with the development team, which involves your devs, your QA, your program manager, etc., etc., right? To kind of like create sprints of work and then develop that feature, right? And then involve in UAT, etc., to make sure that the feature or the fix that you are building is bug free, etc., etc., right? Once this is done, you will be launching that feature, releasing that feature, etc., right? And what happens that at any point of time, right, any PM would be having task at all of these stages, right? Because like it's like a continuous journey. It's not something, okay, you finish something and then you end, right? Because like once you have launched, again, after the launching also you iterate to improve the product or the feature to go or to become closer to the goal that you are chasing, right? Because you might have certain ambitious goals, right? So you have to keep on making effort to uh, to reach towards your goal, right? And you might have to keep on thinking about what is the next problem that I have to solve so that I can move that metric that I want to move, right? So this is what a PM does. You have to understand the whole cycle. So when you do such introductory courses, you will get a decent understanding of this whole process, different artifacts, how do we do things, right, etc., etc. But after that, once you have gained that sort of knowledge, uh, get hands-on in terms of solving a problem. Okay, take up a problem and solve that problem in detail. Okay, then apart from that, maybe like if the problem solving involves a lot of research, etc., right? This will help you do any sort of market analysis. This will help you do any sort of user research, etc., right? This will help you create maybe like user journey maps. Okay, understanding the pain point, right? So all of these things will be covered when you do a problem solving. Just pick up a big problem and start solving, which will help you get more hands-on, which will also help you learn tricks of the trade and also help you create a portfolio and then position your profile in a better manner. So I hope that answers your question, uh, Shrikant, right?
Yes, Ritesh. Yes.
Okay,
Fair enough.
folks, any other questions? So we have about, so we are almost, we have 10 minutes, around 10 minutes. So utilize that time and let me know in case you have any questions. Okay. So let me see what I can talk about. I have spoken about some sort of career progression. I have spoken about what does a PM do over a whole life cycle. I have spoken about skills of product manager. Apart from that, quickly, I'll just maybe like talk about, okay. So yeah, I mean, this is how I define steps to PM career goal, right? So you start with something which is like gaining that foundational knowledge, which will come through courses, which you can do. Plus, this will help you and some sort of problem solving, right? This will do, okay. This also involves like product tear downs, etc., right? If you do this, it will help you gain that knowledge. And apart from that, there are certain soft skills which you have to learn: communication, you have to learn stakeholder management, you have to learn not strategy but project management. You have to learn probably like some of the other skills like uh, yeah. Okay, so learn those skills. and which will help you probably showcase your candidature in a better manner. Once you are done with that, right, this is like a parallel activity that you will keep on doing. Once you do this, right, go to the portfolio, build a portfolio, right, which involves solve a big problem and uh, create a portfolio for you, which involves all the artifacts, right, which includes PRD, which includes wireframe, which includes probably user journey maps, etc., right, which include maybe like using a RICE method to prioritize your solution, which includes probably defining the metrics that you will be chasing for the solution that you're coming up with. So do this thing. So once you're done with step 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. So once you're done with step 1, 2, 3, okay, build a strong resume. I spoke about how to build a strong resume, right? Which is like you talk about impact. Okay. You talked about, you have a portfolio there, right? You have probably all the skills which has to be there, right? So once you have all those things, you can start applying, and make sure that you also network, etc. Try to reach out and make sure that you stand out among the different resume which are coming towards hiring manager or recruiters and then be able to get a shortlist. Once you get a shortlist, make sure that you do some practice or mock interviews to be able to crack that interview. This is the whole path, or I would say this is the whole roadmap how you should go ahead. Start with something as basic as building knowledge and start developing certain skills, then go into portfolio, resume, and then mock interviews. I hope this will be helpful. This is a very generic one, but of course, like you have to get started somewhere, right? So maybe start with certain courses, or maybe like learning with LinkedIn or maybe YouTube resources, and then go on from there. Okay. Anything else, folks? Any question?
Hi, Ritesh. This is
Yes,
Kalidas here.
Kalidas.
So, Ritesh, I've been in the product space, program management space for quite some years. And I've played both the role of product management as well as delivery on the product side. Um, what I wanted to understand more in details is when you say a product portfolio, right? I wanted to know more details about it. While I have worked significant years building product, well, a lot of these artifacts or what we did was very specific to that company, right? And as you keep moving of the company, you don't work the details. You could always brush up what you did and come back and do it. But what is expected of this product portfolio? Is it more what you actually did, or is it more about uh, you know or showcasing your skills by assuming a few problems and trying to solve it? And what are the specific tools that are being used to create this? Because again, this is a new trend that has started.
Yeah.
Portfolios was generally done by designers for long back, and while other aspects of product skill set was there, but this is something that's new to me, and that's something I wanted to start looking at how to go about building, both on my past as well as the current experience that I have.
Yeah. Kalidas, first of all, thanks for bringing up this question. So portfolio is something which is slightly new. Okay, this has happened because of the overall, I would say, an imbalance in, I would say, demand versus supply of jobs. Okay, that is what it is leading up to, especially in the PM domain. Okay, because there are so many people who want to get into PM role, but the supply is less, and that is why portfolio has become very, very important. When I transitioned from a consulting role to a PM role, I mean, there was nothing like portfolio, right? We were probably got selected based on whatever information, whatever knowledge we had at that point of time. Nowadays, it has become important just to showcase and just to make sure that okay, you are able to differentiate yourself, right? So, kind of like I would say the bar has like kind of like risen for product management entry jobs. Okay, so now coming to what is a portfolio, right? So in case you are having maybe like a fresher, right, who or maybe like who doesn't have a PM experience, right? In that case, your portfolio should involve hypothetical problems that you solve. Okay, that is something which you should do. Okay, in case you are having a experience, right, something like you, okay, who is having a experience in the PM domain. So your portfolio should involve your, I mean, some of the showcase or the maybe like some of the projects that you want to showcase, okay, previous projects. Plus, in case you see maybe some sort of maybe I would say maybe fitment or in terms of like what you want to showcase in a particular profile, right? It may also involve certain hypothetical question that you can solve, okay? Hypothetical problems that you can solve. So for fresher, they have no choice, only hypothetical. But for someone who is experienced, they should have the previous projects that they want to showcase, plus maybe a couple of hypothetical problems. This is just to maybe like, okay, I would say I would say this is like only a gap filler, right? In case you have a uh, gap in terms of any sort of work, right? So maybe like you have not done any I would say strategy work, right? Okay, maybe you have not built a strategy, right? In that case, you might want to build a strategy for a new business, etc., which you can showcase, right? And this strategy can involve maybe high level goals that you want to chase, along with like very high level maybe the proposition of your product, etc., right? Pricing, etc., which will help you showcase that work. So basically your someone who is having experience should have previous projects plus hypothetical problems that can be solved, okay? However, it is not mandatory. In case you have a decent enough work to showcase as part of your portfolio, you can just go with your previous work and showcase that as part of your portfolio.
Okay. Okay,
Awesome.
that helps. Thanks, Rohit. I have some more details, but I will probably check if I could get some time on one-on-one. This is more
Awesome.
specific to being experience.
Yeah, so in case let's say someone wants to quickly book a one-on-one with me, right? You can always scan this and book this, okay? You can scan this QR and book a session with me. I mean, for any like questions which are very specific to your role or profile, I'll try to see how I can help.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other question, folks? Okay, folks, looks like there is no question. I think this is it. So thanks a lot. Do reach out to me in case you need to connect with me over TalkMate or over LinkedIn, and then we can talk more about product management, or like I can try to answer your query or questions around product management. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, and let's get connected.